Missed it. Not gonna risk it. Hey there, BikeBlogger here. On my way to work. Today we're gonna talk about stop signs. So, this is a hot topic among cyclists. What do you do at a stop sign? Well, that's what we're going to discuss today. Do you stop? Seems like common sense, right? Do you yield? Or do you just ignore the stop sign and keep going? That is a stop. That is a complete, super complete stop. Now let's go check out the next stop sign. Feels wonderful today. It's gonna be a high of only 73, I think. All right, so here's another stop sign. See how I treat this one. Now that was more of a yield. I didn't put my foot down, but I did slow down so I could see. That was even more of a yield. I slowed down less. Now, if you want me to just sort of like blow through a stop sign, sorry, I don't feel comfortable doing that. Sorry. Actually, I'm not apologizing for that. Alright, so that was a complete stop because there was traffic around. So, what is the answer? Is it stop, yield, or just ignore it, just roll through it? I believe the most effective way of dealing with them as a cyclist, missed it. Not gonna risk it. My bike lined up here. As you can tell, this road is really beat up. If I had just barreled through that yellow light, I might have actually hurt myself. The road is all gravelly as they try to repave it finally. So like I was saying, I think the most effective way to treat a stop sign is as a yield sign. Most places expect you, though, to just stop. It's one of those things, though, that's, depending on where you live, it may not even really be enforced much. Law enforcement has more important things to deal with. Because a cyclist isn't as dangerous as a motor vehicle. They don't weigh as much. They can stop quicker. They can see better because they don't have any blind spots. So they have less of a capacity to really hurt anybody. So they're not a big, heavy vehicle. And like I said, because they weigh less, they can stop quicker, so they thereby have a greater reaction time. About 10 more seconds. I have to take this a little slow as we start up here because it's a little beat up, this road. There we go. Nice and easy. Nice and easy. That wasn't so bad. Alright, back up. Oh. Alright. Woo! So, as a vehicular cyclist, you're supposed to follow all the rules of the road like everybody else. Alright? Now, let's make a left here. Now, a popular book that most, I think, people who call themselves vehicular cyclists have read, or at least read parts of, is the book Effective Cycling by John Forster. Now, that book has been around since the 70s, and there's some controversial stuff in there because Mr. Forster has a, he makes his opinion known about things, which, whatever. But within that book, there are a lot of good, there's a lot of good information and techniques about what vehicular cycling is all about. And he doesn't really talk about stop signs much. There's just one chapter. It's called Riding the Intersections. Just a paragraph or two when he does talk about the stop sign. I'm on a multi-use path here. Other people use it, so it can be sort of dangerous. We're going to get on the road. So, Mr. Forster says that the most effective way of treating a stop sign is sort of like how you've probably been seeing me ride in most of my videos. And that is, treat it as a yield sign. Now, not to misrepresent what he's talking about, he says slow down to sort of like a crawl, as slow as you can go. But don't lose your balance, obviously, so slow as you can go while keeping balance on the bike. Keep your feet on the pedals. And then once you've determined it is all clear, proceed forward. Now I'm gonna say it again. A stop sign means stop, but it also means yield. Just because you stop at a stop sign doesn't mean you still are good to go. You still gotta yield, and yielding, I think, is probably the most important part of a stop sign. The stop sign portion, a lot of, it's political. A lot of places install stop signs just to slow traffic down. But I'm not going to get into that. So, what should you do? I'm covering this topic because a viewer asked a while back, and I thought, I'll do a video on it. It's like, well, what do you do at a stop sign? You do sort of a half stop? Well, yeah, sort of. Again, you do what makes most sense. Because, especially if you're carrying a load, once you stop, it takes a great deal of strength and endurance to go again and do it over and over and over again. See, this stop sign is for traffic to my left, parked cars, but I can see over top all the parked cars. I have no blind spots, so I'm in pretty good shape. Waved at that guy, he gave me a nod, that's cool. Wearing a helmet. Alright. Now, John also says you can do the same thing, treating stop signs sort of as yield signs when you're getting off of a smaller road onto a bigger road. I actually sort of disagree with him there. I think every time you get from a smaller road onto a bigger road like this, you should just stop. But I do understand his reasoning in that if you stop, you'll be slower when you start back up, and it'll take you longer to get through the intersection, the most dangerous spot on the road. You want to spend as little time as possible within an intersection. Now, of course, vehicular cycling is mainly about riding the bigger roads, though, and that's what he recommends, and most vehicular cyclists recommend, because it's the most efficient way of getting around. All the starting and stopping in a residential area is time-consuming and energy wasteful. So we're going to get on a bigger road here in a moment. Missouri 100. As a cyclist, I always get straight into the lane closer to the edge of the road, but cars do the same a lot of the time. They're not really supposed to. Cars roll stop signs a lot. Not really supposed to. That's one of the number one things motorists point to with cyclists. It's like, oh, you roll the stop sign. Best thing you can do, though, is just to ride predictably. Ride in a straight line. Stop at the stoplights. I don't recommend treating stoplights as stop signs. Although I guess you could. That's the Idaho law. That's really good. I'm not hearing any clicking in my bike since I cleaned the headset, so did a good job, I think, so far. It was my first time really doing that, so hope people found the videos helpful. Pretty easy. Pretty easy. I'm going to sort of slow down here a little bit. It's good to know how traffic flows in your city, where the conflict points are. I know I got plenty of time to get through this light. I know traffic's going to want to get ahead of me, so I'll wait just a little bit longer before I merge.
Get it over to Jim.
I like to be able to see around this guy. Don't follow too closely. Nobody likes their personal space invaded. See you next time. Hey there.